Okay, so yesterday we talked about slope in general. Now we're going to talk about how slope relates to lines. So basically, I didn't say this yesterday, but slope kind of means like how steep or not steep something is. So if you think about just a sidewalk that just barely kind of gets taller, that's going to be a small slope. But if you think about a hill or a cliff that just juts down really quickly, or even more like that, that's going to be a huge slope because it is very steep. So that's going to relate to lines. The more steep the line is, the more big the slope will be. So here is how we write equations. Y equals mx plus b. You have probably seen this in your algebra class. This is so important. I ask my algebra students all the time, what's the equation of a line? This is the equation of a line, okay? So whenever I say, what's the equation of a line? Boom, you gotta know it, okay? It's very important. So, just like in the name says, there are two important things in this equation. It is slope-intercept form, so the important things are gonna be the slope and the intercept, obviously. M, we learned yesterday, represents slope. So M is the slope. The B is the intercept, the y-intercept. Okay, so that is, the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. And remember, that's the up and down one. So where will the line cross the y-axis? That is where that goes. So let's go ahead and look at this example. We have a line, and they want us to write the equation of that line in slope-intercept form. And I even wrote steps over here for you. So step 1 is to find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is, let's see, where does this line cross the y-axis? I already made a point for you. Right there. That's where the line crosses the y-axis, which is -2. That's the first step. The next step is move to another point using rise over run. That's how we find the slope, right? So how many, let's start this point and let's go to the other point, this point right here, this black and green one. So how many did we move up? 1 up. And how many did we move left? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 left. If you'll remember, M is slope. And 1, since we went 1 up, that's a positive number, 1. And then if we went 4 left, and left is a negative number, so -4. So the slope here is -1/4, or 1 over -4. And now we get to put it into this form, y equals mx plus b. So y equals m, we said, was -1/4. X, and then plus or minus b. This time we have a -2, so the b is going to be -2. Y equals m, 1/4, negative, x plus b, or -2. So that's how we go from a line to an equation. What about if we do the opposite? Example 2 says graph the line from the following equation, or for the following equation. This time we're going to go the opposite. We have an equation, we have to create the line. This is very similar, okay, and I wrote the steps to the left, or to the right for you as well. So, step number 1, graph the y-intercept, okay? Here is the y-intercept, the b, and here is the slope, the m, right? We know that from our equation. So first step, graph the y-intercept. So we go up 2, make our point. That's our y-intercept. Then step 2 says graph more points using rise over run. So with my green, my slope, we said, is -1 and 3. So which one should be negative? Should the 1 be negative or should the 3 be negative? I'll give you a hint, it doesn't really matter, okay? So let's just say the the 1 is negative. If the 1 is negative, that means we're going down, because negative is down. And then if the 3 is positive, that means we're going to go right. So down 1, right 3, from that point that we just made. Down 1, right 3. But what if we made the 1 positive and made the 3 negative? So I'll write or. You have your choice. You could do either one. Let's try this one now. That means for rise, we would go up and left for the run. So now from that blue point again, now we'll go up 1 and left 3 instead. Okay, and you'll see that if we connect them, they do actually form a very crooked line in my case, but they do form a line. So that is slope-intercept form. What if we don't get a perfect equation? We don't get a graph. What if they give us something else? This is called point slope form right here. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is called point slope form, and just like slope-intercept form had a slope and an intercept, point slope form has a point and a slope. So we know this is going to be the slope, and the y1, x1 is going to be the point. So like I said, this time we don't have a graph, but we still need to write the equation. We need to get it to look like this. This is our goal. So our goal is to get it to look like that. Okay? And this equation, the highlighted one, is how we get there. So the problem says, write an equation of the line through the point 6, -2 with a slope of -4. So slope stands for m. So -4 is the m. So down here in the equation, I'm going to write -4. And the blue is the x1, y1. Okay, so we plug those in. X1 goes down here, 6, and y1 goes over here, 2. And the rest you just kind of come down. So our equation now is y minus 2 equals -4 times x minus 6. And let's keep working on this until it looks like y equals mx plus b. Remember, this is our goal. With every problem, we want it to look like that. That's our goal. Y equals mx plus b. This does not look like y equals mx plus b. So I know you guys remember, whenever I see parentheses, I want to distribute. So let's bring this left side down and see if we can distribute that -4. -4 to the x is -4x. -4 to the -6 is a positive 24. Okay, we're closer to mx plus b, but we're not quite there. There's something on the left that we need to get rid of. This needs to be by itself. So let's add 2 to both sides, because the y needs to be alone. So y equals -4x plus 24 plus 2 is 26. And there we go. We got it. So basically the steps are 1, plug in the numbers, 2, distribute, and 3, move the y2 over to the other side. So those are pretty much the steps. Okay, this time, something else is wrong. This one says, write an equation of the line passing through the pair of points. And the points are -2, 7, and 3, -3. But point slope form, we need a point and a slope. We don't have the slope. We are missing the slope. But no worries, we know how to find it. Remember yesterday, the m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember that? That's what we're going to use. So let's go ahead and label these again. This was y2, or this was y1, sorry. y2, and then this was x2, x1. So plug them in. The second x is -3 minus the first x is 7 over. The second x is 3 minus the first x is -2. On the top we have -3 minus 7, which is -10. And on the bottom we have 3 plus 2, because we have 2 negatives, and that's 5. So, if we were to simplify, -10 divided by 5 is -2. So our slope is -2. Then what we do is we choose one of the points over here. Choose one of the points to use. You can choose the first one, you can choose the second one. I'm going to highlight, I'm going to choose the second one, because why not, you know? And we plug it in. So we have our slope right here, m. So plug that in, -2. And we have our x and our y. Our x is 3 and our y is -3. I use that from my highlighted point up there. Then we drag everything else down. And follow our steps. We plugged it in, number 1. Number 2, distribute. So 1 minus 3 equals, distribute, -2 times x equals -2x. -2 times -3 is a positive 6. And step 3 is add that 3 over. Add the 3, add it to the 6, and we will have y equals -2x plus 9. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the notes today. Make sure you're getting on